So this is the video for 7.3 applications. I'm going to run through the two examples for this section. The first one is talking about a pentagon, which is regular, that's important, and then some triangles that are made from it. They say they're isosceles triangles. We start with the green one and we are rotating to get the yellow. Now, as we're rotating, we are creating congruent shapes. So the first part of the question answers itself and is just congruent because that's exactly what the definition of rotation does. We don't create larger shapes, we don't create different shapes. When you rotate, you're just simply creating the same shape, but it has been turned round. The second part of the question wants to know how it's been rotated. So we need to know the angle and the direction. Well, since we're starting at this one and turning around the center, which is the red point, to here, that's clockwise, and all we need to do now is work out the angle. An entire circle is 360 degrees. We now have 5 triangles which are exactly the same, so if we divide that by 5, you get 72 degrees. So to go from green to yellow, we have a rotation clockwise about the red center of 72 degrees. For the second example, I'm going to change it into a demonstration of how to do reflections using tracing paper. So I'm going to first off get my piece of tracing paper and draw on the object. Again, you just need the general shape, but try and be as accurate as you can. So this is now a perfect copy of my object, which is going to allow me to turn it and put it in the correct places. Now I need to know where the mirror line is. So it says triangle A is reflected in the line x equals 0. X equals 0 is the y-axis. So if I line up my object, okay, and if I start from a certain point, which is going to be really useful to remember, and then mark on the y-axis, or x equals 0, okay, then I can use that to flip it over, okay, and line that point back up. So I've used the origin so that I know exactly where the shape is going to line up. So here it is, it's going to be here. And one trick that we've actually got is that the pencil markings, because I've definitely used pencil, are now on the other side of the bit of paper. So if I colour over this and remove, hopefully you can see the shape as it is. Now I can then be perfect and say, well, it's going to be on these corners, it's going to be on that corner, it's going to be on that corner, and then draw the image. And label it as requested D. No, E. Next it says the triangle E is reflected in the line x equals negative 5 to become the triangle F. So I need to find the line. So if this is x equals 0, we then have x equals minus 5 at this point. So I'm going to mark on my mirror line and then repeat the same thing. So I'm going to get my tracing paper. I'm going to, without a ruler this time, see how quick I can be. There's E, generally showing the same shape. I'm going to mark on the mirror line and note that I've got a point there which I can line back up at the x-axis. I'm going to reflect it over, line it back up, okay, and I can see I've got my shape now. So there's the object where I'm starting and the image which I'm creating, and I'm just going to colour over the top You could peek and try and work it out, but hopefully this will work. I can see where my image is going to be. There's the corners. Line it up perfectly. Draw over, this time with a ruler, because this is what would be marked if I was doing an assessment. Label it F. Okay, and then the question is actually asking, how do you do a single transformation from A onto F? Well, I've got my original A picture here. Yep, that'll do. You can still see the general shape even though I've coloured over it. And if I just slide this across, it fits perfectly onto F. Meaning I don't have a rotation, I don't have a reflection, I've just got a translation. So A to F is a translation, and I've just got to work out what that's going to be. So it's going to, this point goes to this point. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So 10 left. And if you want to show that as a vector, that would be minus 10 because it's going left, and 0 because it's not going up and it's not going down. Now, just as a bonus piece of support, I want to give a part of the video over to rotation, as we've done the other two, and how you would use tracing paper to draw it. So I've written two questions. We both need to rotate the flag, part A, clockwise 90 degrees about the point 5,4, and B, anti-clockwise about the point -1, -1, again at 90 degrees. So for part A, we need a bit of tracing paper. Again, I'm going to use a pencil and I'm going to draw over the shape. Now it says about the point 5,4. That is the center where I'm going to be rotating the shape around. So here, I'm going to line it up. 5,4 is this corner, so there is my center. So I'm going to put it back on. There's my object. I'm going to put a pen where it's going to be the center and rotate as required. So clockwise is this way, 90 degrees is there. Now, if I'm not sure about the angles I need to turn, one thing I often say to do is before you start, put a cross or a plus sign at the center, because then as you rotate, every time that plus lines up with the background, that's 90 degrees. So there's my 90 degrees, and it's going to be here. Now I can either peek and put some points down, so that point here is going to be here, or there's another way you can do it. If you turn the paper over and colour this side in, put some pencil marks on this side, okay, you can see it's actually already started to trace over. Restart, there we go. Put your point on the center, rotate it correctly. When you think you've lined it up, draw over the shape, and that should trace through. So I can see where my shape's going to be, and with a ruler, I will then mark it on. Okay, and I'll label that A so I know part that is. Part B says anti-clockwise about the point -1, -1. So first thing to do, find the center, -1, -1. That's going to be here. Okay, so this time the shape is going to rotate around, and anti-clockwise being this way, it's going to end up somewhere over here. So again, I'm going to need a slightly larger piece of trace paper, but I'm still going to use tracing paper. I'm going to put a plus on the center so I know how to line it up. Using pencil now, I'm going to draw without a ruler the shape. Okay, I'm going to put my pencil in the center and I'm going to rotate it 90 degrees as required. Okay, so it's over there. So the shape has turned 90 degrees, but it's now moved quite a lot. Okay, so I can either peek, or I could have done the other trick. This time I'm just going to peek. So that point is the top. Move the trace paper out of the way, so it's this point. Once I know one point in the orientation, I know the flag is going to look like this. And I can check in a minute. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so I'll just do a check. That's on there. Rotate anti-clockwise, fits perfectly onto there.